All right, our next section on our test preview is graphing phase shifts. We have our amplitude. All right, so we have our amplitude. Oh, that's over here. Amplitude, we need our B value, outside plus K. So we want to make sure we divide out the 6. So the 6 is going to come out front. So 4 cosine 6. And then 3 over 6 is going to be 1/2. So our amplitude will be 4. Period is 2 pi over 6, which is pi thirds. Our midline is 0 since we don't have a K value. And our phase shift is negative 1/2. All right, next we have our sine graph. So it's -1, and we take the absolute value, so it's +1. We don't have a B value, so our period is going to be 2 pi. And then our midline is -2. And our phase shift is -pi. So that means we're shifting over pi from our graph. So we're going to start here at -pi. So let's figure out where the rest of our graph is going to go. Pi, 3 pi halves, and 2 pi. So since it's a negative function, or a sine function, it's going to be 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. All right, for our x values, we are subtracting a pi. So just adding that -pi to all of these. So this would be -pi. And this would be -pi halves, because that'd be 2 over 2. So -2 plus 1 makes -1. This would be 0. 2 over 2, that's going to be a positive pi halves. And this will be pi. So this will be -pi halves, 0, pi halves, and pi. All right, for our vertical, we are multiplying by -1, because that's our A value. And then we're subtracting 2 after that. So that's going to be our midline, is -2. So that's going to be the middle of our graph. And then we go up 1 and down 1. All right, so let's see what our number is going to be. So we'll be at -2, -3, -2, -1, and -2, which matches because this is -2, -1, and -3 if we labeled those. All right, so first point, -pi and -2. -pi halves and -3, 0, -2. And then if we just continue our sine pattern, it makes that graph. All right, last one in this section. This does have a phase shift and it tells us where we want to look. So we want to look at a positive cosine graph. So that means starting at the top. So if we're looking at our phase shift, that means we're starting right here. So that means we're starting at pi 8. If we're looking at our pi fourths here, and we're ending. So if we go by 8, so 1 pi 8, 2 pi 8, 3 pi 8, 4 pi 8, 5 pi 8. So if we do 5 pi 8 minus pi 8, because gives us our total distance or our period. We would be at 4 pi eighths, which is pi halves. So that's going to be our period. If you looked at it as like a regular sine function, notice we do a full sine wave to pi halves. So you could look at it that way too. All right, our midline here is 3, and we go up 2 and down 2. All right, so it's a positive cosine, so we're going to start with 2 cosine. We don't have our b value yet. X minus pi eighths for the phase shift, and then plus 3. All right, with our period as pi halves, we're going to do pi halves equals 2 pi over b. So trading places. So b pi halves equals 2 pi. Then times each side by 2 to get rid of the fraction. 4 pi. And then dividing by pi. So we get b equals 4. And that would be our equation.